What's the purpose behind the marketing plan? You excite, you educate, experience, and engage. Let's do this, right? Let's do this and let's have fun with it too. To my first-time listeners, thank you for joining the show. I appreciate you being here. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Marketing Podcast with NDUB, where I'm your host, Nathan Webster, and I'm excited to chop it up with you today. To all my first-time listeners, thank you for joining the show. I hope this creates a great opportunity for you to apply what you learn and to expand or grow or just better your knowledge about marketing. But if it helps you expand your business, please let me know. Rate, review the show, leave a comment. Would love to know I would love to learn how I have helped you. And to my worldwide listeners, thank you for tuning into the show where I couldn't do this without your support. Please continue to subscribe, rate, review, leave a comment, and share so we can continue to get our podcast ratings up on all platforms. So this podcast is a bit different because I kind of want to just peel back a layer and open up the curtain so you can see behind the veil. Now, I've been at my business now for 9 years. In the last couple of podcasts, I'll talk to you about, brand strategy, like how I went from, I don't do business cards to digital cards. I told you when I was in Nairobi, which was crazy. I got to do a podcast about that. In this last podcast, I was talking to you about how Nike taught me why and how brand strategy matters. And I went over the 3 takeaways. Oh, man. It starts with number 1 of the last podcast, what I said, the takeaway of you have to know who you're serving. I chose to be a brand strategist because for some reason, some way, some shape or form, I've just been very fortunate and blessed to be able to build relationships. And in those relationships, and I learned this when I was doing my nonprofit 20 plus years ago, it wasn't a system. Let me just start over, okay? This is the key reason why I have excelled in all my businesses. And that is because there's no system that's not built by people. It is the people behind the systems that are making these organizations work. What I learned was that when I was applying for these nonprofit grants, going to these foundations, these trusts, I realized it wasn't a machine making a decision. It was actually people. It was people reading, reviewing. It wasn't like you put this document in this machine and it gave an answer, yes or no. Is it credit worthy, or if it's a invest worthy, or if it's community oriented to where it's going to make the community better. It's the people that make those decisions. What I started to learn at a very young age and young age in my entrepreneurship is we are all marketing at some way, shape, or form. I was networking before I even knew the term networking. And I quickly learned that relationships matter. And in this day and age, fast forward to today, relationships matter even more so now because you may have access to a person's contact, but you may not be able to access their ability to earn their trust. There's no other way for me to soften that blow. People may like you, people may know you, but they may not trust you to the point where they can pull out their wallet, swipe their card, and have a relationship with them to deliver services or a product that meets their bottom line. And, I say bottom line as in like a profit, but it could be also a customer. And we are in a day and age where building relationships are much harder. It's more intense. It's more labor. Where before, 20 years ago, I literally sat down in like big big offices with big time people, both men and women, and they gave me their time. Doing that today is so much harder, like so much harder. And just because you get a person's time, it could be a coffee, lunch, dinner, that doesn't mean that you're going to strike a deal, earn a contract, sign them up, right? It's so much harder than that. So the reason why I chose brand strategy is because I realize I have a gift, and it's easier for me to do it than others. And on top of that, I realize the business aspect of when people say they need this and how that correlates to the master plan of how then they can manifest it, or in marketing we say convert it to a customer or a client. It's a science, right? Or maybe not right. Maybe it's like, what do you mean? Yeah, sure, it's a science, but it's both creative ability and the scientific manifestation of the methodologies that both of them combined together create this algorithm and formula that it has to be to that, again, number one takeaway, to that customer. And like I was saying in the last podcast, number one was the customer, the avatar, but number two, you have to have a great product or service. And that great product or service is not going to be for everyone. So this is where you got to be in the position to win with the people that you created that value proposition for. And if you're like me, in a very small town, not a big metropolitan, it is work. So the reason why I chose this, not because I believed I was going to like set myself up for success. I was just doing what I enjoyed and came easy. Now I'm at a place in my life where it's like, okay, I want to scale, but how do I want to scale? So why I chose brand strategy is because I love building relationships. I love helping people. I love connecting people. My conference is called Let's Connect. It's important for me to help others. I believe that's my calling. What's crazy, why I created Let's Connect, my conference, was because there was a lot of great people not meeting each other. Not good, not average. I'm talking great. And not only were they great people, they also had great businesses. So I chose brand strategy to where I knew it could work for me, but I also knew, like in the third takeaway, I had to create a different approach of how I did business. So that's why I created my conference. And as a shameless plug, my conference is October 3rd and 4th. And if you're not going to be there in Vancouver, Washington at the Hilton, I'm going to tell you right now, you're missing out, because I have had people in the very beginning from the conference one, we're going in conference 4, year number 4, and they said like it was maybe only 50 people there, but the conversations were so genuine, authentic, and real. It was beyond what any other conference could provide it. And folks call it the unconference. And they call it the unconference because you are building something, a relationship with this individual that has helping you in so many ways. I've had folks to say like 3 years, 4 years later, they still haven't connected with all the people that they talked to from conference 1 or conference 2. So no matter, and I won't tell you the secret behind that, but I would tell you that don't underestimate the power of connection. Do not underestimate the power of your brand. Because when I say brand strategy, branding is just another word for experience. And we in the website world understand that it is the user experience that keeps people on the site and keeps people coming back. So as a brand strategy, which is overall the company logo down to where logo is just not an image, right? It is down to the experience from the very core, from the first time they've seen it to everything that it embodies, along with the people that are also wearing it. You know, this is where I can talk for hours, but I won't, because I want you to know I started doing brand strategy because people sometimes say like, tell me what brand strategy is. It's so elusive. It's so broad. And I get it. Yeah, it is. And there's a lot of folks that say they are a brand strategist. But how I am a brand strategist, I know how to help you get the connections you need to monetize both your digital and in-person channels. And it's not easy because it requires you to build relationships and clear out the clutter. And it's not easy because I've said many times before, your personal demons becomes your business obstacles, which is also why the Let's Connect conference is so important. So if you want to learn more, feel free to check out our link down in the show notes. Go check it out when it comes to the conference. But if you want to follow me also on my personal channels, it is on Instagram, Nathan Webster 543. I use a pull strategy, which I'll talk to you more about later. But when it comes to the businesses, all the links are in the show notes. So go check it out. And you heard it here first with Let's Connect and Let's Talk Marketing with NDUB Podcast, where I'm your host, Nathan Webster. And I'm excited that you joined and tuned in today. I hope this has been beneficial. If so, please rate, review, and share the show. And until the next time, I wish you nothing but the best. So dream big and Godspeed. I'm out. What's the purpose behind the marketing plan? You excite, you educate, experience, and engage. Let's do this, right? Let's do this and let's have fun with it too. To my first-time listeners, thank you for joining the show. I appreciate you being here.